I cherish peace with all my heart, but I don't care how many men, women, and children I need to kill to get. Okay, that was a Peacemaker line, but today we're actually talking about another absolute monster in DC Worlds Collide, Deathstroke. Whether you just pulled him as a new player, or you're building out high synergy endgame teams, Deathstroke is one of the most versatile assassins in the game. In this video, we'll cover a full kit breakdown so you know exactly how Deathstroke works, his best beginner team to get you started, a block/bleed team for you to transition into, and a debuff focused team where he shines the most. We also have a sneak peek at the upcoming Peacemaker Fragile team that could make him even stronger. If you enjoyed this kind of content, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future guides. And I'd like to announce that I will be live streaming every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. EST. So if you want to hang out, ask questions, or theorycraft live, come join us. I'm still working on the best times so you guys can join the live stream, so this might change in the future, but for right now, we're going to keep it 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. EST. Alright, now let's get started. So the first thing we're going to go over is Deathstroke's kit breakdown. Before we talk teams, let's look at what makes him so deadly. When he uses his ultimate, he switches to all three weapons for 2 turns. Each basic attack is replaced with gun, sword, and bomb strikes. Damage is reduced by 40%, but each attack is followed up with an extra basic attack. The effect for the upgrades on this is going to be a reduced damage penalty to 30% instead of 40%, and eventually he'll lower his energy cost to 1 once you have him at 5 red stars. His basic attack rotates between his weapons. For the gun, he is going to attack for 85% of his attack damage, 95% with upgrades. He also gets 35% bonus damage if the target's HP is above 50%. The bomb hits a target plus 1 random ally. The damage is starting at 60% and then moves up to 75% of his attack. He also adds 1 stack of bleed for 2 turns. His sword hits for 2 hits at 42.5% of his damage, and this with upgrades will go up to 47.5% attack each. Plus, he also adds 1 stack of bleed for 2 turns. His first passive, he's going to gain action bar progress 30%, going up to 40% with upgrades at the start of battle and after using his ultimate. His second passive, he has a 20% chance to fire an extra basic attack every turn. This chance is increased by 5% for every enemy with bleed. For his passive 3, when there are 2 or fewer enemies remaining, Deathstroke gains 30% crit rate. In summary, Deathstroke is a bleed-powered assassin. The more bleed stacks on the enemy team, the more basic chains he does, and the harder he crits once the targets drop below 50% HP. You want to protect him, feed him with bleed debuffs, and watch him snowball. Now let's go ahead and move into our beginner-friendly team. So for our beginner-friendly team, we're going to start out with this lineup. It's going to be Deathstroke, Killer Croc, Cheetah, Phantom Stranger, and Black Canary. I want to go over quickly the roles that each character plays on this team. Killer Croc is going to be a reliable bleed applier. His ultimate adds bleed and grants him lifesteal, keeping him very healthy. He's also going to gain permanent attack and lifesteal per bleed on targets, and this scales with Deathstroke's playstyle. Cheetah is here for her action bar push for all her allies with her ultimate. She also boosts bleed stacks during her wild strength. She's also here for energy generation when hitting bleed targets, and this is going to fuel Deathstroke's ultimate cycle. The Phantom Stranger is here for shields and shelter for the front line and Deathstroke at the start of battle. His advanced skill grants sturdy armor plus magic protection. He has passive healing plus energy refund later on, and he acts as the team's main tank. Then we have Black Canary here for her team-wide healing on her ultimate. She also applies silence and weaken on enemies' backline with her advanced skill. And she does some pretty decent damage for a support type unit. And for why this team works, it's perfect for beginners, very easy to build, has a mix of damage, sustain, and control, which is all that you need for a team. Now let's go ahead and jump into our bleed slash block team. This is going to be our mid game, which is going to be the upgrade from this team right here. Okay, so this is going to be the team that you're going to be looking to upgrade into once you start unlocking more characters in the game. The core for this team is going to be Deathstroke, Nightwing, Vixen, and Ocean Master. Our last character can be a flex spot, and that's either going to be Bloodsport or Two-Face. Now, quickly, I want to go over the team's roles here. Nightwing is going to stun the highest attack enemy with his multi-hit ultimate. He provides shelter and block buffs for the frontline allies. His passive shock counterattacks when he gets hit, and this is very disruptive in PvP. For Vixen, we have her Rhino Charge, which is a big AoE damage plus armor break. When she does her bear form, she's going to execute low HP enemies with guaranteed crit bleeds. When she goes into her armadillo form, she's going to have a frontline defense, and this is going to apply sturdy armor plus reflect. And her passive is going to scale with the more allies she has alive. Ocean Master is here. He's going to convert weaken to bleeds with his ultimate. He buffs the front line with block and block amount. His passive is a counterattack with extra debuff stacking. And he's going to be the core team synergy for the block teams. Bloodsport is going to be an option. He spams weaken, marks enemies to take extra damage, and refunds energy. He's very reliable in PvE for consistent setup. Two-Face is your other option here. He has a coin toss for stun plus damage reduction on his good side, and his good side is when he's in the front row. Or he has extra crit amp plus bleeds for his evil side, which is in the back row. When he's in the front row, he's also going to add silence. When he's in the back row, he also does extra bleeds on his skills. And he's very great in PvP for his control capabilities. Now, why this team works, it's very high sustain, plus you have endless bleed stacking. Bloodsport is going to give you consistent damage for PvE, and Two-Face is very disruptive and flexible for PvP. Now let's go ahead and get on to our next team. Now this next team is probably one of my favorite teams in the game right now. It's going to be the Debuff team. A very late game-ish powerhouse type team, and this team is going to consist of Deathstroke, Sinestro, Gorilla Grodd, Raven, and Superman DCU. And if you don't have Superman DCU, you can also use Bizarro instead of him. Now quickly, I'm going to go over the roles for this team. Sinestro does a consistent weaken, slow, armor break, and fear to the enemy row. His ultimate scales with debuff stacks for insane front row nukes, and even potentially back row nukes if you've already cleared the front row. And he's a perfect enabler for Deathstroke to go off. Now Gorilla Grodd is here. He's going to give a knockback plus a slow, weaken, and armor break. His passive increases debuff stacks on the enemy that hit him. And he's a frontline tank who thrives in debuff heavy fights. Raven is here. She's going to add random dot debuffs, that being bleed, burn, poison, or frostbite. At rank 10, her ultimate duplicates all debuffs. Plus, she has a permanent attack and defense shred on the enemy who she hits with her ultimate. She also provides revives and healing for team safety. Superman DCU is here. He has a burn, dampen, and slow debuffs that he's going to add. He also can cheat death with his invulnerability. And he has huge physical damage that makes him a safe anchor for the team. His burn stacks can amplify over time when they detonate, and Raven can also duplicate them to help him get more burn stacks off. And then Bizarro is going to be our alternate for DCU Superman. He brings frostbite, freeze, weaken, damage sharing, and self-healing. He's great for players who don't have DCU Superman yet. The strengths for this team is it's going to be a debuff overload team. Has nearly every single major debuff that's been covered. It's also really good at scaling damage. Deathstroke and Sinestro grow deadlier the longer the fight goes on due to the amount of debuffs being applied. The survivability of this team is crazy. Superman's tankiness plus Raven's revive keep your carries safe. And it has a lot of very good control tools with the fear, silence, slow, stun, and freeze, which gives tons of enemy disruption. There are a few downsides to this team. It is a slow setup. We need to apply multiple turns of debuffs before this team really starts ramping up and getting going. This team is also going to struggle versus high physical resistance teams, and heavy investment is going to be required. It requires late game characters like Sinestro, Raven, Superman, and Bizarro. So now for our future synergy prediction, I believe that Deathstroke is going to fit really well into Peacemaker's team. The team concept for this is the Fragile is going to reduce enemies' physical damage resistance. That's also combined with the armor break plus the bleed stacks, and this is going to create an ultimate setup for Deathstroke's bonus basic attacks. The example lineup for this would be Deathstroke is your main DPS, Peacemaker is going to be the tank, Vigilante is also your other DPS, Judo Master is another DPS, and Raven for support, debuff duplication, and her revive. And instead of Raven, you could also use someone like Kid Flash. Kid Flash is like the greatest healer in the game right now. So, you know, if you don't want to use Raven and for whatever reason, Kid Flash is going to be just as good here. Now, the key synergies for this team is going to be Peacemaker, Vigilante, and Judo Master. They're going to apply nonstop armor break plus fragile stacking. Raven's here to double all the debuffs once she reaches rank 10, ensuring that the fragile uptime stays up. And Deathstroke is basically going to slice through weakened defenses with his relentless basic attacks. This team's strengths is going to be almost insane. He's going to have insane physical damage amp. Fragile makes Deathstroke's gun and sword basics hit ridiculously hard. There's going to be a huge debuff explosion. Armor break plus Fragile plus Raven's duplication overloads enemies. Their survivability is going to be really good. Peacemaker's healing plus Raven's revive is going to keep the team alive and healthy for quite a while. And then we also have control tools like Judo Master's silence and Raven's fear for disruption. The weaknesses for this team is it's all physical damage. It's going to struggle if enemies have high physical resistances. It's very synergy locked. You're going to need the full Peacemaker squad for maximum value for this team. And the setup required, it's going to rely on stacking debuffs before Deathstroke really starts popping off. So Deathstroke is going to be one of the rare characters that always has a team that you can slot him into. From your first days in the game to the highest levels of PvP and PvE, he has a place in your roster for sure. You want to pair him with bleed and debuff specialists, keep him alive with tanks and supports, and let him go wild with his bonus basics. If you're building around him now, you're probably setting yourself up for success when Peacemaker's Fragile team arrives. We're going to have to look at the full kits when I get my hands on all the characters, but until then, just keep in mind that he could be really, really good for that team. And I really hope this guide helps you out and get the most out of Deathstroke, whether you're just starting out or pushing into late game content. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future guides and team breakdowns. And don't forget, I live stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 6 p.m. EST. Come hang out, ask questions, and let's theorycraft these teams together in real time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.